No Time to Die is directed by Kari Jogi Fukunaga and stars Daniel Craig, Ana de Armas, Rami Malek, Ralph Fiennes, Christopher Waltz, and a bunch of others. And we pick up with James Bond, who has left active service. His piece is short-lived when Felix Leiter, an old friend from the CIA, turns up asking for help, leading Bond onto the trail of a mysterious villain armed with dangerous new technology.
Hey everyone. So it's been a minute. It's actually been about a month. As you guys may know, for those who had saw my last review, I talked about the fact that I would be really busy for the October season, for Halloween season, where I'm writing 31 reviews in 31 days over at redmangoreviews.com. So I cover the horror over there, and I've been busy trying to come up with 31 of the best horror movies that you may have missed, and that has been taking up all my time. But good news, here in Trinidad and Tobago, cinemas have finally reopened, and I had to celebrate. I went to IMAX, and the first movie I saw, of course, was this one, No Time to Die. So I decided to take a break and get my thoughts out there, because I really want to talk about this one. This of course being Daniel Craig's final go around as James Bond, the character that Casino Royale kind of breathed new life into this character, and this is his swan song. So of course we had to see this. The events here directly happening right after what happened in Spectre, and we're picking up with James and of course the new love of his life, but we'll get into that, and all the events that's happening here and how it plays out. And listen, all you want to know is, did I think this was a great James Bond movie, a good James Bond movie, or a not so good? So let's get into that. And of course I always start with my positives, and the positive here being the visuals. Fukunaga does an amazing job as usual with the visuals here. I mean, that opening action sequence is so expertly done. It just grabs you, and I completely didn't even realize the credits hadn't really started rolling yet. We didn't get those iconic credits happening yet. I was completely pulled in by the opening of this movie, and it made me excited for what was to come. And the other action sequences here, and I mean, this is the strongest aspects of this movie for me, were these visuals. Of course, we have all these beautiful locations because it's a Bond movie, it goes all over the world. We're in Cuba, we're in Jamaica, and we get to see all of that. It's wonderfully shot. But what really pulls me, and what brought the energy here, was definitely the action sequences. My favorite is the one in Cuba, but I also love that almost like one long take of Bond going up the staircase to get into the missile silo room. Those were wonderful. Those really amped you up, where everything else was a bit more subdued. And I'm going to get into that as well. And of course, returning here, we have some familiar faces. We have the same actors coming back in as Moneypenny, Q, M, and we have of course Daniel Craig as James Bond. And whomever your favorite Bond is, I have my favorite, but I'll keep it to myself for now. But Daniel Craig has done an amazing job of making this character his own. He really has. Say what you will, he is a different kind of Bond, and some people may like that, some people may not, but I think overall, after all these films, most people will respect what it is he's done. He really did make this character his own. He did not try to emulate those that came before him, yet he was still respectful of the character as a whole, and I dig that. And here you can tell he is giving it his all. He really isn't just telling himself, well, this is my last movie, so who gives a damn, a la Jennifer Lawrence as Mystique in that Dark Phoenix movie. Here you can tell he's still stepping it up. He's still giving us a Bond that we can get behind, and he still looks amazing, so good on him. And I really appreciate that. Another standout, of course, for me was Jeffrey Wright as Felix. I think that's such a laid back character. I really like the dichotomy of that character against Bond, you know, CIA and MI6, is it? What am I saying? But yeah, I really like that different CIA, you know, James Bond. That's their version of James Bond, and he's so much more laid back. And I really like how Jeffrey portrays that character. And of course, we have Ralph Fiennes or Ray Fiennes returning as M here, and this is, you know, this is the most I think we've really seen from his version of M. You know, Dame Judi Dench, I thought she was amazing. I really did love her as M, and I just felt this movie, strange enough, being the last one, I don't know if he's going to be returning, because I mean, after the events of this film, you got to think somebody's got to pay for what went on here. But you know, he's a dude that handles himself well in every movie he's in, and he does get to do a lot more with the character here. Another absolute standout for me was Ana de Armas popping up in Cuba. I loved the energy she brought to this, and I was honestly disappointed that she wasn't in the film for much more. And I'm pretty certain they're building her up to bring her back in future Bond films, you know, because that would be such a waste of a character if she just showed up once. Her chemistry with Bond was just like off the charts, and I'll get in back to chemistry in my negatives as well, or the lack of it. They had such a wonderful dynamic. They played off each other so well. You could tell they were having so much fun. And it definitely, this is where I talk about the energy of this movie, and it does, the tone, I should say, it ebbs and, you know, it flows, but here it definitely flows. And she just brought such a dynamic presence to this role, and I hope they bring her back. But putting the good stuff there, let's get into the not so good stuff. It's not all bad. I'm not saying this is bad. I'm just saying I expected a bit more. And as we're talking about new characters, I'm going to start with the elephant in the room. And that elephant would be Lashanna Lynch as 007, the new 007. Now, I have no issue with them bringing in a new 00 agent. And of course, there's going to eventually be a new 007. This is just a number. So if somebody retires, obviously somebody's going to take up that mantle. But it's such an iconic mantle that we're expecting somebody who's going to take it and Usain Bolt the hell out of it. That's not what I got here. And I'm not blaming the actress. I had no issue with her. The issue for me is the entire concept is absolutely wasted, in my opinion. She barely does anything in this movie of worth. She never has any really badass standout moments. She pops up here and there, and it even causes a plot hole. And there's this scene prior to the big action sequence in this foggy forest wooded area. I'm going to go mild spoiler on this one, guys. I can't help it because this irked me so much. It irritated me so much. I have to talk about it. So I'm just going to talk about little itty bitty spoiler here. And that's starting now. Okay. So the new 007, we're told, is following somebody, right? I think his name is Ash. Is following this person. We're told she's on his trail. Right? So I'm assuming she's close to wherever this person is. Then we have Bond meeting up with his lady love and talking things through and whatever, and then something happens. See, I'm still being vague, not spoiling too much. Something happens and they have to go on the run from the same person that 007 is supposed to be closely tracking. And somehow enough time has passed between her, who we've been told was following this person, and Bond being chased by same said person, that this guy actually catches up with Bond. And then certain things happen after that. Where the hell was 007 all this time? And by the way, she shows up shortly after that to pick up Bond, and he even says a line, where the hell were you? Or about time you got here, or something like that. It makes no sense. It does not flow properly. It's such terrible writing. And again, I'm not blaming the actress. This character feels like she's stuck in here to please people who thinks that we should have a female bond, we should have a bond of a different ethnicity. There's nothing wrong with that if you do it right. If you're gonna bring in a 007 to replace 007 or in the interim or whatever, I still feel like she should be 006 or whatever, but fine. If you're gonna bring somebody in like that, they're gonna have to jump off the screen. They're gonna have to grab the audience by the collar and be like, yes, I am awesome and you will love me. And I got nothing like that from this character. This character felt like such you just stuck her in there and hoped for the best, and they gave her nothing to work with. Her scenes were mediocre at best, and I didn't like any of it. That was a big negative for me. If you're gonna do that shit, do it right, and I don't felt like they did it right. Another aspect of this, and I've had this issue since Spectre, is Lea Sedu as Madeleine. Now, again, it's not the actress, but I'm not invested in that relationship at all, and I don't believe in it. I don't believe Madeleine is the love of James's life. The chemistry Eva had in Casino Royale with Daniel, you bought into that. You bought that Vesper, the loss of Vesper would break him, because you bought into the chemistry and the believability of the relationship. Ever since Spectre, it's just, they don't fit together for me. There's no chemistry between these two people whatsoever, and it's worse here. And the bad part about it is there's a big reveal to their relationship, you know, so we're supposed to believe even harder, if you want to put it that way, that these two people are deeply in love with each other, and I never buy it. So when anything happens that affects their relationship, I don't care, you know, and that's a big no-no. We're supposed to be rooting for them to have their happy ending, and I don't care, because I don't buy into the fact that these two people are together and madly in love. I never did, not since her introduction, and I still don't now. I'm sorry, they have no chemistry whatsoever together. And then, of course, let's get into the villains of this series of films. Now, I think the problem we have here is that they are trying so hard to pay homage to the villains, the Bond villains of yesteryear, that they don't allow the actors here to make these villains their own. So instead we get this kind of, I don't want to say Dr. Evil, but it doesn't feel like these actors are bringing, let's say, what Josh Brolin did with Thanos, you know, bringing your own identity to that character. I don't feel that here. I see Blofeld and okay, fine, you know, he doesn't seem like a threat, you know, I don't feel the menace. And then, of course, we have poor Rami Malek brought into this thing. And again, what is his villain other than a guy with a messed up face? The opening scene with him is amazing. It's the best scene. It's the strongest scene, you know. The rest of it, though, I just wish, and Rami is really giving it his all, I feel, with this character. But you also feel like he's trapped into making it a Bond villain. You know, they kind of like stroking a cat and that kind of thing. And no, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die. He doesn't get to be his own villain, his own creation. And that's sad, especially considering this is the final Daniel Craig Bond film. You were expecting him to go up against one hell of a villain. And granted, the whole mega weapon, biological weapon thing, it's intriguing, it's interesting. We've seen it before. I have seen this before, but it's fine, you know, it's interesting. I just felt like he could have gotten an opportunity to do more. I wanted to see a villain that really gave Bond a run for his money, and I did not get that here at all from him. He was here and then he was gone, and it was fine. So what else is there to say about No Time to Die, guys? I it's not that I didn't like this movie. I would never say that. It's too well shot. It's well acted. You know, the actors are fine. The ones the sorry to say, but Moneypenny, Q, and they're just kind of there to push the story forward. They don't get to expand as characters, unfortunately. Um, and the movie, of course, visually, it looks dynamic. It looks really good. Most James Bond movies do, you know, they keep growing visually. But I want to see more. You know, I've never gotten what we got from Casino Royale. I just never got that again from the following films. And they've been entertaining to varying degrees. I quite like Skyfall, but they've just never managed to. It was like lightning in a bottle with Casino Royale, and they just never seem to get that level again. And considering this is the last one, I was hoping that it would go out, okay, this might be kind of mean, with a bang. But yeah, that ending, I need to watch it again. Not quite sure where I sit on that ending yet. But as a whole, I would say this movie was a 6.5 for me. Yeah, I'm gonna give No Time to Die a 6.5. It's a good movie, but I was hoping for great. I really was, especially after we waited all this time. And it was far from great. There's just too much here that doesn't work. So 6.5 out of 10. And that's it for this one, guys. So it's good to be back at this. And I have one more review after this because I did get to see Halloween Kills, so I'll be back for that as well. And if you enjoyed this, please feel free to hit that thumbs up button. It's always appreciated. If you're new and you'd like to subscribe to my channel, you can click on my face when it pops up right about there. And you can check out past videos if you've got some time. So until the next one, guys. Bye-bye.